Hello everyone. Today with most of you I am going to meet for the first time during the live class. I hope today I will be experiencing some new faces. I will be meeting some new faces. Actually on the previous day when I was taking the class, that was a class with science A students I guess, but the science sections were merged and only a few science A and B students were there. I met with them, but today I guess this is a class meant for all those students of science A, B, arts, commerce and everything. So I hope some new faces will be there in the live class. Okay, now if any new student is watching me right now, watching I am using because this is a video class, so if any new student is watching me right now, let me tell you, with you I am going to discuss the poetry portion of your English 2 paper. Okay, we all are going to discuss this portion. Why I am saying so? Because this is a part of literature and I think you already know, you are grown up, so you already know that in literature we all can have our own illustrations, our own imaginations can be applied, we can apply our own imagination and we can express our thoughts in our own way, but yes, those expressions, those illustrations should be logical, should be established properly, otherwise that will not be considered to be correct by the examiner or whoever you are sharing with. So I would suggest you, whenever you are having different kind of illustrations or thoughts, suppose a particular line is interpreted by me in a certain way, but you think you are having some other thoughts, don't hesitate to share those thoughts in the class. Whatever class it is, online, offline, don't hesitate to share your own thoughts so that we all, not only you but also I, we all will be able to learn something new, to discover something new and correct, obviously. Okay, so enough of speech. Okay, now we will be discussing a poem, and the first poem that I have decided to discuss is The Gift of India by Sarojini Naidu. As I said, I was taking a class and that was a class with science A and B students. I discussed about the poet. I had no discussion about the poem itself, but yes, before that we need to know about the poet, and in this particular poem, in case of this particular poem, there is a very important historical context related to it that we need to know, okay, before knowing the poem. So I was discussing those things, but as some new students are here, I'm sure, so I will be discussing those things again. Alright, try to pay attention. If you face any problem, just feel free to ask me during the live class. So the particular poem, The Gift of India, this present poem is written by Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is a very popular and famous name. I know, you all know, and I'm sure that this particular name is known to you all. Now, who is she? She is definitely a very famous poet of modern India, but at the same time she was a very active political activist, and she also was a proponent of anti-imperialistic ideas. I hope you know imperialism, when a rich country tries to control the weaker countries in their own way, that is called imperialism in easier words. Okay, so this particular idea was not supported by our poet Sarojini Naidu. She stood against this kind of imperialism or this kind of thought. So she was a proponent. She always practiced her ideas. She was a proponent of anti-imperialistic ideas, women's emancipation, all these things, and obviously she played a very important role in Indian independence movement. As I said that she was born in Hyderabad in 1879 in a Bengali family. Okay, and then for her studies she went to Chennai, London, Cambridge, all these places, and gradually she became a follower of Gandhiji. Now Gandhiji is a very important figure of in this Indian independence movement, in the history related to all these things, independent movement. and Gandhiji always believed in non-violence, and as she was a follower of Gandhiji, we can assume that she herself was a follower of non-violence, and she also played a very important role in the attainment of Swaraj, independence. Okay, and as far as her poetry, her writing skill, or yes, her poetry is concerned, the sweetness of thoughts in her poetry, the use of imagery, the rich language, or the sweetness of thoughts, that's the key point. Because of all those things, she earned the sobriquet of the Nightingale of India from Gandhiji, and she was also called the Bharat Kokila by Rabindranath Tagore. So Rabindranath Tagore called her Bharat Kokila, and Gandhiji called her the Nightingale of India. These are important information, so you try to memorize these things. And gradually what happened, she started to write some poetry, patriotic poetry. Okay, besides those things, she also had some poetry for children, nature poems, all those things. Okay, now in this particular poem, The Gift of India, we can see, if you go through the poem, you will be able to learn that in this particular poem, the poet is trying to pay her tribute to the courage as well as sacrifice of the Indian soldiers in World War I. Now here comes the historical context. World War I, when did it take place? From 1914 to 1918. You try to remember, was India itself, or was our motherland herself independent during that period? No. So in World War I, India has nothing to do. I mean, she was not in our motherland herself was not in the position to have some kind of enmity with any other country. Okay, to fight against any other country, because she herself was not independent. She was a colonized country. She was a colonized land. Our motherland was a colonized land, and who were the colonizers? The British people. But they took part in this World War I, and during this battle, what happened, especially when they were fighting against Germany, they faced a crisis of soldiers, and obviously the orders came from them, the orders of the colonizers. What was that? The colonized people had to join as soldiers in that particular battle. Though they had nothing to do directly with those people, they had no direct enmity or nothing like that, because they themselves were not independent. No. But as the colonizers ordered, they had no other option. So lots of over 10 lakhs Indians had to take part in World War I in different portions of the world. Okay, and as a rule of war, as a rule of any battle, what happened? So many Indian soldiers lost their lives. Okay, in various parts, in various locations of the world. But there was a thing. So many white soldiers also were losing their life. But after their death, after the death of those white soldiers, what happened? Those bodies were brought with proper respect, and they were cremated properly. Those bodies were cremated properly. Okay, by those colonizer people. But those Indian soldiers who were sacrificing their lives for the cause of those British people, what do we do? What should we do? When someone is doing something for your cause, you should be grateful to him or her. If you cannot return her or his favor, at least you should pay him certain respect. But here what happened? Those Indian soldiers were killed brutally in the battlefield in various locations throughout the whole world, and after death we say that when a person is dead, he or she is, all whatever she or he has done should be forgiven. Even when we talk about able people, we think in that way that after death every person goes beyond those evil, sin, all those things, right? But here what happened, the people who had been helping them in the battle, when they died, they somehow just collected the dead bodies, and those dead bodies experienced mass graving. Okay, no proper cremation, nothing. This was kind of this was an insult. I guess you understand that. And here in this poem, Sarojini Naidu has pictured India, has personified India as Mother India, as a mother who has bestowed upon the British people with so many gifts. And the greatest gift was her own sons, who took part in those battles. Took part in that battle. In the battlefields, they were killed brutally, and they did not receive any proper respect, any proper cremation. So this particular poem celebrates their courage. In this particular poem, the Mother India, she celebrates the courage of her sons. At the same time, she laments for the sacrifice of her own sons. So mixed kind of feelings you will find in this particular poem, that we will be discussing in the next classes, obviously. So I would suggest you something. If you have understood my words, very nice, no problem. If you have some other information, do share with me in the live class. We all will come to know from each other. And you can use various sources, various kind of books, online, offline, whatever it is, are available nowadays. So use those sources properly, positively. Okay, so that you can gather knowledge. Never ever think that, okay, just this book I am having, so whatever has been written in this book, that will be enough. If you are having any other source, I know that all of we are actually can avail these online things nowadays, so use those things positively. Okay, don't just use those things for gaming and all those things. Okay, refreshment is necessary, but at the same time, if you are having such sources, then just use them. Okay, nicely. And as I said, if you are facing any problem to understand my words, don't hesitate. Just feel free to ask me during the live class.